All right, what's going on, guys? So today I want to go over a question I've been getting lately on how to prevent ACL tears or injuries of the knee. Now, this is very prevalent in the sport of soccer, right? And mostly female soccer players, right? This is the most highly predicated injury that we've seen inside of soccer for the female athlete. So what I want to do is I want to go over some focus points, some exercises that you could utilize to help prevent those injuries or at least reduce the risk of it and also increase your overall performance. Before we go on, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the notification. If you like this video, hit the like button and let's get into it. Okay guys, so first and foremost, I want to make sure that you guys know that I'm not a physical therapist nor a doctor. So if you do have an injury there or you think that you're going to have an injury, make sure that you get with a qualified clinician, physician, physical therapist, whatever the case may be, so that they can take care of the problem or the issue that you may have. But these are some things that you can do to help reduce that risk and also mitigate the injury going further. All right, here we go. So, knee injury prevention, right? A lot of the times, primarily it's gonna be ACL tears, PCL tears, MCL, all the cruciate ligaments that, sustain that knee function, right? So we wanna make sure that we have strength there, stability, overall range of motion so that you can enhance your change of direction, all that speed when you go into cutting and moving on the field. So, focus points, right? You wanna make sure that you're improving your range of motion. And I'm not just saying just range of motion from flexion extension, obviously. The knee joint is a hinged joint, but we do want to have some type of rotation in there so that you can pivot and move accordingly. If you do not have that, all that torque is going to go into the hip and then you're going to have some problems in the hip, into the foot, things like that. So we want to have a little bit of range of motion there to help with rotation so that you can change direction a little bit more appropriately. All right. Now, increasing stability. Now that's going to be a key factor. We want to make sure that the tendons, the joints in there, all the soft tissue is nice and strong and stable, right? So when you're loading the hip, you're loading the knee, you want to be able to reabsorb force and then redirect it because that's going to be a part of soccer, right? You change direction, you have to get in and out so that you can move efficiently and also so that you're not going to get injured and tear up those tendons, okay? Strengthen the surrounding muscles, all right? So we want to make sure that we're strengthening up the hamstrings, the hips, right? The calves. We also want to strengthen up the feet. We want to make sure that all those surrounding muscles that support that knee are nice and strong, okay? We'll go into more exercises on that, all right? Fourth, all right, you want to have essential loading patterns and also want to make sure that you can absorb that force. So eccentric motion is going to be important. We want to make sure that we're gaining that tissue stiffness, all right? So we're getting more of that tendon to be nice and strong so that we can redirect force and also absorb that force when we go to stick our landing and move to get either away from a defender or to get to the goal, all right? All right, force absorption and redirection. Again, this is active agility, this is range of motion, this is change of direction. We want to make sure that we are improving that through proper means of plyometrics and also landing mechanics. All right, so here's some exercises that we can do to help improve that. All right guys, so first one we're gonna do is creating that range of motion in the knee, the optimal range of motion. So we're gonna use functional range conditioning, controlled articular rotations of the knee joint. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my outside arm, I'm gonna go ahead and come around and you're gonna get what's called a gable grip, right? Or a wrestler's grip here. We're gonna gable grip the knee, right? And hug it tight to the chest. I'm gonna flex my feet, right? Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and internally rotate, right? And then I'm going to drive up into extension here. Then I'm going to externally rotate so I can see my tibia move, and then I'm gonna come back down. I'm gonna get to the full range, come back up all the way, then I'm going to rotate and then come back down. The main thing is you don't wanna see your hip kick out as you're rotating the knee. So we wanna make sure we're disassociating the knee from the hip. So we're coming up, we come back out and back down. Up, in, down, up, out, down. You can do about 2 sets here, right? And you do about 5 repetitions there, all right? All right, so for the next one, we're gonna work on stability, right? So we wanna work on stability of the feet all the way up into the hip. So we're gonna use an Eric's pad here. You wanna make sure that you're taking off your shoes so that you can grab the ground efficiently and you're working your toes and your overall feet, okay? Then what you could do is you could take a soccer ball or a med ball, whatever you want, all right? And we're gonna go against the wall here. I'm gonna put my foot up, right? I'm gonna create torque. I'm gonna stay balanced. I'm gonna grab the Eric's pad with my toes. I'm gonna get up on one foot, and then I'm just gonna hit the wall for about 30 seconds to a minute on one leg, making sure I stay stable, and so my knee does not valgus in. So I wanna make sure I'm keeping that external rotation, right? And I'm grabbing the ground with my toes, creating a good arch here, false arch, So I'm not collapsed in here, that's the main thing. So we wanna make sure that our feet are strong and we're here balancing our body nice and strong here, hitting the wall. Another way you can do it is grab a tennis ball and back up off the wall a little bit, throw the tennis ball to the wall and have to catch each side. So now you're working hand-eye coordination along with stability of the knee. All right, on to the next one. Okay, so for the next one, we're gonna start to strengthen up the hips, the glutes, and the surrounding muscles. So the first one we're gonna do is called a monster walk. So what I did was I'm gonna grab a hip circle here, all right? You can get this from Slingshot, all right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that our toes are pointing forward, all right? We're grabbing the ground, keeping a nice torque of the body, especially in the femurs, right? And our abs are nice and tight, so we're not moving in our upper body here, all right? I'm gonna step and then replace, keeping my knees out, making sure that they don't valgus in. I'm gonna keep tension here on my abductors, and I'm stepping out and replacing, right? You wanna go about 10 to even 15 yards, going down, keeping a tight body, making sure the knees don't valgus, right? We're keeping tight tension on the band, and then we're going back, same thing, right? Nice and strong, core is tight, right? I'm not going too far over where my knees are over my toes. I'm sitting back, putting load on my hamstrings and my glutes, and I'm also activating my abductors, okay? Okay, so for the next one, we're gonna go ahead and start to strengthen up the hamstrings, okay? So the reason why I wanna do this is because if you have strong hamstrings, it gives the ability to stabilize the knee a little bit more efficiently, plus it helps with acceleration, okay? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, grab the sliders, right? I'm gonna drive my hip up, and we're just gonna do the eccentric motion. So I'm gonna come down, nice and slow, 5 to 10 seconds, controlling the motion, making sure my hips don't drop, and all the way out to the end range, and then I'm gonna drop down. So now we're working that eccentric, right? Working on strengthening up the tissue there, right? And then coming all the way out, getting a good stretch, squeezing the glutes, keeping the hips up, and going all the way down. So good tissue remodeling. We're building muscle there from the eccentric loading. And again, we're stabilizing the hips, keeping the glutes nice and strong. Okay, you can do about 3 to 4 sets, roughly around 8 to 10 repetitions through. All right, so now we're gonna go into the drop jump. So basically what you wanna do is you wanna find a high enough box to where you can still maintain stability as you land, and we're just going to increase it in time, all right? You never wanna go anywhere higher than 42 inches. That's a huge drop. Anything above 36, now you're looking into more that risky area. So start off low, I would say 12 to even a 16-inch box, and then you wanna work your way up to about a 32 to a 36-inch box. So this is how you're gonna do it though, all right? You're gonna get up on the box, right? You wanna do these barefoot so that you can still create that tension and that torque in your feet. So we're gaining that stability there and strength. So all you're gonna do, right? You're gonna go ahead, step up off the box, make sure that you're landing on 2 feet. As I go to land, boom, right? I'm grabbing the ground with my toes, my knees don't valgus in. I'm keeping nice tension here on the outside of my legs here, spreading the floor apart, and my torso is nice and aligned, all right? Let's do it again. And I stick the landing. Notice how my hands come back, because once you start to understand how to land, then we want to redirect force. We'll do that depth jump where you drop down and you drive back up, creating that amortization phase where it's nice and tight so you can reabsorb force and redirect, all right? One more time. Okay, cool. So you want to do about 3 to 5 sets of these. You want to do about 5 to 10 reps. Okay, so the last one we're going to do is going to be an intro to plyometrics, all right? So we call it low-level plyometrics. What we're going to do is called skater bounds. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go off one leg, and I'm going to make sure that I sit back into my hip. I'm creating that tension on the lateral side of my body. I'm making sure that I'm loading my hip, my hamstring, and my glute. And then from there, I'm gonna go ahead and jump, right, at a 45-degree angle and land on the other leg. So now we're producing force, and then we're absorbing that force. So we're here, arms are tight, just like you're running, leg comes off the ground, you push off, boom, then I stick the landing. If you start to lean or fall, you can jump, double bounce, but stay into that position. So I'm here, I push, boom, double bounce, make sure the knee is out. I push, boom, double bounce if I need to, and stick the landing, boom. Okay, again, this is something that I do for warm-ups. If you've seen any of my videos, obviously you've seen my fighters do those dynamic warm-ups. We're increasing, again, that eccentric strength, that eccentric loading, and then also we're getting the hips strong there, that so it can support the knee itself. And then again, we're working on that tendon stiffness or that strength there and stability in those tendons so that, again, we can absorb that force and redirect it, all right? Thanks again for watching. If you have any questions, hit the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe, make sure it's a notification. See you again next time. Peace.